Can I start, as is my custom every time I speak, particularly as Prime Minister, can I acknowledge our Indigenous brothers and sisters who are here tonight, the great South land of the Holy Spirit. Their elders past, present and future. Can I also acknowledge, because I'm sure they're here, any veterans or servicemen and women who are here tonight, and pay honour and respect to them tonight and thank them for their service. Can I acknowledge my brothers who are here tonight, Matt and Stewie. Matt has recently joined us after the last election, and it's wonderful to have him there, joining our band of Christian believers in Canberra, joining together regularly. And there's many more of us, I can assure you, from all different denominations, providing encouragement and fellowship to each other. Can I also acknowledge my very good mate Stewie? He and I came into the Parliament together, and back in 2007, and Channy's here as well. And he's been a great brother and of mine over a long period of time. We've walked quite a journey together, so I'm so pleased that he could be acknowledged here on the Gold Coast tonight. Can I also give God some glory tonight in honouring some pretty amazing people who are here, who've had a big blessing on my life, and they're my pastors, Brad and Ali Bonham. Here they are. Brad and Ali have been marvellous to Jenny and I and the girls, and they took over that job from Mike and Val Murphy who are here. They're amazing too. It's like the ghosts of pastors past here tonight, because here's Joel and Julia Bell over here, who we knew when we were at City at Hillsong, and of course to you, Brian, and to Bobby, just pay you honour, mate, and to Bobby as well. A great blessing. I'm sure you've heard it said, I remember him saying it, use what God has put in your hand, you can finish it, to do what God has put in your heart. I remember when you said that night out at Homebush, and I think that has been a great blessing. Blessed to be a blessing, that's another one I know. An amazing impact. Best is yet to come. Is that right? That's right. I did want to share something with you tonight. A few things that are on my heart. I need your help. I need your help. I remember my late father-in-law. Jenny sends her best, by the way. Thank you for your prayers for Jen, particularly most recently. She's amazing. I'm just thrilled that the rest of the country is getting to work out what I've known for a very, very long time. And she's a great blessing. You know, she's got an amazing heart. The way she's used the opportunity that God has given us for such a time as this, the way that she has been able to reach out to people and just be a blessing to them and a comfort to them. Her heart is just as big as it comes. And God is using her, and I think in great ways. Not in political ways. I haven't come to talk to you about politics tonight. The opportunities that have come our way. Layla and Danny Abdallah, I don't know if you know Layla and Danny, they lost their 3 children when they were run over at Oatlands. And Jenny has forged an amazing friendship with her and that family and the other families that are affected. And that's an amazing faith that forgives. And they've been a blessing to this country. So Jenny's sorry she can't be here tonight. But I do need your help. My father-in-law was an amazing Christian. There wasn't a day that went past when Roy was not in complete wonder about how God saved him. It wasn't a day. He grew up in Bondi when it was a lot tougher than it was today. And he had a bit of a rough time growing up. He was a bit of a loner. And God reached him through a great church where he was. And he just lived the rest of his life going, I can't believe how great God is. And he would just give thanks every single day. And when I was younger, because I started going out with Jenny when I was 16, and so I would sit and we'd have discussions, Roy and I, and even then, back then, I was interested in things political, and so was Roy. And we'd talk about government, we'd talk about all this, and he'd get very frustrated with me because I wouldn't answer all the questions. And I said, well, you know, Roy, you know, I can't fix the world. I can't save the world. We both believe in someone who can. And that's why I've come here for your help tonight, because what you do and what you bring to the life of faith of our country is what it needs, in my view. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, you may know of him. He was the chief rabbi of the synagogue in London. If you haven't read of any of Rabbi Sacks' work, I strongly encourage you to. He wrote a book just before he died called Morality. Now, it wasn't about what you might think, or I think most people who are outside of faith communities would think when you say morality. And he said this about it. He said, you lose your morality and you're in danger of losing your freedom. He said, our rights used to be how we were protected from the state, and now it's what we expect of it. He said, what we once expected from family and community, now we contract this to the state and to the market. And he channeled someone else, a famous economist, Friedrich Hayek. I'm an economist. Freedom has never worked without deeply ingrained moral beliefs. He was talking about community, and that you can't replace community with governments, with the market, with other institutions. You can't replace the family. You can't replace marriage. You can't replace the things that are so personal and ingrained and come out of us as individuals with systems of power or systems of capital, and these are important things, but they can't replace community. And every church, people say to me, what church do you go to? And I say, I go to Horizon Church. Used to be known as Shiloh Church. Been to other churches. Been in Baptist churches. Been in Brethren churches. I've always been at a community church. That's where I want to be. And a church that believes in community and creates community. And the essence of community is each individual understanding that they're valued, that they're unique, that they can respect one another, that they can contribute to one another. We cannot allow what we feel entitled to be more important than what we're responsible for. This is very important stuff that Rabbi Sacks is talking about. Because he gets it. That the essence of morality is not what others would think it is, about sexuality and all of these issues. Of course, these things relate to it. But it's about the dignity and value of each and every human being and the responsibilities that they have one to another. You know, you cancel out one human being and you cancel community, because community is just human beings who God loves and is intended to connect us one to another. Morality is about focusing not on you, but on the person next to you. It's about focusing, for me, on you, not me. That is the essence of community. And you can't pass a law for it. You can't create a building for it. It is essentially what springs from each and every one of us. Community. It's born of what he likes to call a covenant. And a covenant, as we read, particularly in the Old Testament, he tends to read the Old Testament a bit more often than New. But he seems to understand it a lot better than many of... Not Brad. Brad's great. He's all over it. But he speaks about this in a way, It's not a transaction, because in a covenant, there are responsibilities, not just obligations, but responsibilities. There is relationship in covenant, which is what God sought with Israel in covenant. Deep relationship. It's personal. It goes beyond. There's the giving of oneself, the respect, the dignity, the caring together, the sharing of interests, the sharing of lives, the pledging of faithfulness and achieving together what cannot be achieved alone. A covenant, more than a transaction. Family and marriage, God has created in the same way to reflect that covenant that we can have. And so I need you to keep building community in this country. I need you to keep doing the things that you do, which allows Australians, both here and wherever you may be. I know Brad does amazing work up in Papua New Guinea. I know how much he loves going up there, and I'm sure there are many other heres that have blessed our Pacific family, and there may be some of our Pacific family here, I don't know, or at least joining us online. But it's so important that we continue to reach out and let each and every Australian know that they are important, that they are valued, that they are significant. And as we believe, they are created in the image of God. And that in understanding that, they can go on a journey that I'm very confident you can take them on. And I'm relying on you to do that, because that's not my job, that's yours. There's some threats to this that I want to share with you. There is a fashion these days to not think of Australians as individuals. There is, particularly I think amongst our young people, and I worry about this. People think of themselves, it's called identity politics. They think of themselves by the things they can describe and collect them with others. These are important things. One's ancestry, one's gender, where one's from. If you're from the Shire, well, that's great. You're starting ahead of everybody else. As they say, prayer in the Shire is a local call. It's Cronulla, for those of you who are not familiar with what I'm referring to. But there is a tendency for people not to see themselves and value themselves in their own right as individuals, and to see themselves only defined by some group, and to get lost in that group. And you know, when you do that, you lose your humanity and you lose your connection, I think, one to each other. And you're defined by your group, not by, I believe, who God has created you to be, and to understand that. And that's a big thing going on in our community, in our society today. And it's corrosive. It's absolutely corrosive. And I think it's undermining community, and I think it's undermining the self-worth that Australians can have. Because if you're only defined by what pack you're in, or what group you're in, or what group you've been, or what box you've put in, and how others have defined you or sought to define you, either to enlist you to their cause or whatever that might be, Australians need to understand that they themselves individually and personally are unique and wonderful. Because, you know, if you look at each other not as individuals but as warring tribes, you know, it's easy to start disrespecting each other. It's easy to start not understanding the person across from you. And this is important in politics for us too, that there is a beating heart over there. There is a unique individual with a unique set of issues and challenges and opportunities and possibilities and all of these sorts of things. And when you stop seeing that and just see someone as, well, they're of that view and that group, and that's why people start writing stupid things on Facebook and the internet and being disrespectful to one another, and we all know that, how that is corroding and desensitizing our country and our society, not just here but all around the world. And I think it's an evil thing. I think it's a very evil thing, and we've got to pray about it, and we've got to call it out, and we've got to raise up the spiritual weapons against this, because it is going to take our young people, it's going to take their courage, it's going to take their hope, it's going to steal their hope, and we've got to pray about that. We've got to pray against that, because it is such a corrosive thing that we're seeing take place. Yeah, sure, social media has its virtues and its values, and it enables us to connect to people in ways we'd never had before. Terrific, terrific. But those weapons can also be used by the evil one, and we need to call that out. So, this is the help I need from you. I need your help to keep doing what you're doing. I need your help to remind Australians how precious they are and how unique they are. Can I finish with 4 verses I just wanted to share with you? Can I do that, Brad? Have I got time to do that? Okay. When I ask that question, people always say yes. There will come a time where that will not be true. But it's not tonight. There are a number of things. It's in 1 Chronicles 13. There are 4 verses I want to share with you in closing. Things that I've learnt while I've been Prime Minister, and indeed long before that. Drawn to 1 Chronicles 13:3. It's about David. And David said, I'm just trying to find it here properly. Take these off, that'll help. I've lost it here. 1 Chronicles 3. Anyway, it talks about how in the time of Saul, they didn't inquire of the Lord. And it is important for us to inquire of the Lord. And this is how David established and set up when he became king. That all other kings, Saul had not done that, and we know that over the course of Israel's history, that those who didn't inquire of the Lord, those who neglected the Lord, those who put what the Lord had put in their heart to one side, then their kingdoms went where they went, and the people followed them where they went. And we all remember what happened when that occurred. And this is a constant reminder to me, just in my own personal walk, and I'm encouraged by the people I've mentioned already tonight, and many more, that it's something I seek to do. And a lot of people outside this place who you will understand what I'm talking about. It's not a political thing. Faith is very much an ingrained part of my life. And I just seek his wisdom in the same way you do, each and every day. And it's important that we do that. The second one, I like this one, in Psalm 23:5, where he talks about preparing a banquet for you in the presence of your enemies. We've got to sit down at that banquet. I sit down at that banquet every single day. But that's where we're called. He didn't ask us to sit. He didn't prepare a banquet for us in the presence of our greatest admirers and friends who would tell us wonderful and lovely things, as nice as that is. He said, I have prepared this banquet for you in the presence of your enemies, and I will be with you at that table. And that is a wonderful reminder to me each and every day. I was up in the Pilbara the other night, and Jenny, many, many years ago, got me this lovely little verse, and she put it in a frame so I'd see it each morning, about being strong and courageous. Do not be discouraged, from Joshua 1:9. And there was a young fellow who was up he worked at the mines, and he just came up to me because the people, were saying good day and we're talking. He just came up and he said, Joshua 1:9. And I said, I got that one, mate. I've got that one. And when you read, as we all do, the thing that keeps coming back to me over and over and over again, any of us in leadership understand that, is yes, he's prepared that banquet, and yes, we inquire of the Lord, but you must be strong. You must be courageous. And you must not be discouraged. What I like about that verse is he knows that we get discouraged. He knows that those who would seek to hold us back would have us be discouraged. So he knows it's going to happen. It's no surprise to him that we may feel like that. So he simply says, don't be. Be strong. Be courageous. Do not be discouraged. And this came home to me importantly during the last election campaign, in fact. And I was up on the Central Coast, and I was up there with Jenny. It was a pretty tough week, actually, last couple of weeks of the campaign. And I was at Ken Duncan's gallery, and I didn't know we were going to go to Ken Duncan's gallery. We were speaking at a rally that day, and we had to go and hold somewhere, as we often do before we go to the next event. And I must admit, I was saying to myself, Lord, where are you? Where are you? I'd like a reminder, if that's okay. And so I walk in, so I didn't know I was supposed to be at Ken's gallery. And Ken's a great Christian guy, as you all know. And I walked into his gallery, and there, right in front of me, was the biggest picture of a soaring eagle that I could imagine. And of course, the verse hit me, that soaring wings of an eagle, run and do not grow weary, walk and not go faint. But the message I got that day was, Scott, you've got to run to not grow weary. You've got to walk to not grow faint. You've got to spread your wings like an eagle to soar like an eagle. So I hope those few things encourage you. They certainly encourage me and Jenny every day. We are very grateful for the amazing prayers and support that we get from Christians all around the country. It is an avalanche. The letters we get, the support we get, the books that are sent to me constantly. I don't know if you're telling them to send me your books, but I've got them all there. They're down in Canberra. It's quite a library that's building up. But people send me verses. They tell me their stories. They share things with me. They share things with Jenny. It's a privilege. It is an absolute privilege. I've been in evacuation centres where people thought I was just giving someone a hug and I was praying and putting my hands on people in various places, laying hands on them and praying in various situations. I was just in Kalbarri where the cyclone has just gone through. In all of these places, Wayne, you're right, and Lynn, it's been quite a time. It's been quite a time. And God has, I believe, been using us in those moments to be able to provide some relief and comfort and just some reassurance. And we'll keep doing this for as long as that season is. That's how we see it. We are called, all of us, for a time and for a season. And God would have us use it wisely. And for each day I get up and I move ahead. There is just one little thing that's in my head, and that is for such a time as this. For such a time as this. God bless you. Thank you very much.